Good morning. Today is very, very exciting because it marks the first day that I can actually wear my hospital scrub. It feels very overwhelming and, you know, it's induction week, but I'm pretty stressed about next week where I start.
Abs are back.
Jennifer, your cooking has definitely improved since you met me. It has, hasn't it?
Baby, you've never cooked a day in your life.
You look nice.
Thank you.
No, I'm talking to you. Sorry, you look good as well. And good morning and welcome back to the vlog, the Week in My Life videos at medical school. And it is a very, very exciting period because I have just started year 3 and this marks a very, very exciting time because it is, in fact, the second week of inductions. And that is what this week's video is all about. I'm taking you with me for my week at induction. What are you laughing at, sweetheart? What are we laughing at? I'm rusty.
Just woken up.
I've just woken up. She's just woken up.
Bedhead.
We've got bedhead. And what time is it, sweetie?
Oh no, oh no. 12:05.
It's 12:05. But it's fine because, as I say, first 2 weeks in year 3 is induction weeks. We've had a full week of inductions last week where, to be honest, it was all just a few lectures on how to do well in year 3, how to cope, what support's available, just usual stuff, how to use the library. But a really exciting thing we did do last week was, well, actually 2. We picked up our free iPads, which was an amazing experience because, you know, £9,000 a year, at least it goes towards something.
Now you can play your game.
I can play all my, distract myself even further than I already do get because I have a full-time girlfriend, and believe me, it is a full-time thing.
Yeah, it is.
And she's so happy. Why are you so happy, Jennifer? Because now we live together. It's temporary though. It's temporary. Until September. Until December, when my flat that I have bought is going to be finalised. But as I say, last week it was a lot of fun. Picked up iPads, picked up scrubs, so now it felt really real picking up the scrubs. And this week it's just another week of inductions, and I want to take you guys along with me so you know exactly what to expect when you guys join year 3. And also if you're just interested in seeing what I get up to. This is why I'm really, really excited about 3rd year because, you know, it's no longer lecture theatre based. It's no longer necessarily just studying in lecture theatres and just watching things back on repeat. It's all about actually being on the hospital wards, getting signed off, practicing all the procedures, seeing them happen, and I cannot wait for my first block, which is a 4-week block of the emergency department. But since I have moved in to Jenny's for the foreseeable until December, I want to give you guys a little tour of the place that we're living at. This is...
Absolutely not. Do not do that now. I've not tidied up. No,
It's
baby,
fine.
stop.
All right, okay, princess. I won't show them the majority of the flat. I'll just show them the office. The bedroom
No,
slash
baby,
office.
absolutely not.
Okay, fine. I'm not allowed to. I don't have
do the
permission to
balcony.
do that.
Go do the
But you're probably going to see it at some point because I need to do loads of work. But this is where we spend most of our mornings. Here, as you can see, we've done an amazing job of this balcony. We've got 2 seats here where we can eat, and of course, the egg, which we spend a lot of time in front of and on. Honestly, love that egg. And who was responsible for that, sweetie? Who had the idea of the egg?
You.
I did. Yeah. Who had the idea of the whole balcony? I did. Let me show you the rest of the flat. So, welcome to my new office, essentially, which is where I'm going to be doing most of my work when I'm at the flat. Actually starting my 3rd year of university, relatively stressed as per usual. This is pretty standard for my life. If you've been watching my videos previously, you'll know that my life is very, very hectic because I juggle so many things. And just to give you an idea of my to-do list going into my 3rd year, this is all the things outside of university that I've got to do. I've got so many things like admin related stuff. So yeah, huge amount to get through. But it is 1:05 and I have a venipuncture session, which is like one of the first real practical things that we're doing in year 3. So I'm really excited about that. It is at the hospital as well. So yeah, really excited for that. First thing on today's plan. Let's go. Bye-bye, Angel.
Bye,
and straight to the hospital. Catch you after the session. So I have just got back from the venipunctures. Guys, I cannot explain how much fun that was. For the first time, it actually felt really real. It just started with a full hour-and-a-half session whereby we were shown these fake arms, and we basically had to put these cannulas in, put 2 different types of needles in, draw blood, and do the whole procedure. And it was just a really cool experience. I did it like 5-6 times because I just wanted to keep doing it, because I acknowledge that the more times you do something, the more practice that you get in that environment, the better you will be. And then when I asked at the end, like, when's the next time we're going to be able to practice this, our teacher said it will be on your clinical placement next week on real people. I was like, what? So yeah, that was pretty crazy to realize that the next time that we will get the opportunity to do it will be on real people, which is quite a daunting experience. So yeah, it definitely feels like year 3 is very much pushing yourself out your comfort zone. There seems to be a lot of pressure on students to just like go out there and do it yourself and figure it out. And yeah, you've just really got to like learn by doing. But yeah, it was a really good session, and it was run in groups of 6, so it was basically a tutor and only 6 of us. So I did feel like it was a small enough group to make sure that we had enough one-to-one time with the tutor to just kind of get us up to scratch. But yeah, then after that we had a 1-hour lecture, again from the dean, the head of year 3 for our hospital. And that was really helpful because, again, it was just a good opportunity for us to just ask any questions we had and just really reintroduce us as to how different year 3 is, which are the clinical years onwards, to how we've been doing years 1 and 2 at Manchester. And I've got to say, it is so different. It feels like a completely new transition to a whole new style of learning, a whole new style of getting yourself through the course, signing off, doing patient presentations, patient assessments. I don't even know. And that's the crazy part. I literally said to the dean, like, I've got to say, it feels like we've got a tremendous amount of things to try and understand the way the course is run now, and it does feel overwhelming. And she said, yes, that's fine. That is normal. So, you know, if you guys are watching this, just entered year 3, it will be a complete shock. You will feel incredibly overwhelmed. But they did reiterate to us that the first clinical placement block, which is the next 4 weeks, is an introductory block. So it is formative. Therefore, it is not summative, and it is not going towards like our final grade. However, we can use that opportunity to get sign-offs. So we can use it to do these sign-offs of these patient assessments and these patient presentations, which are the main things that we're assessed on a weekly basis. But in a nutshell, my point that I'm trying to get across is it is a major adjustment. This year 3 style of university course in medicine is totally different to years 1 and 2. It is no longer a case of going to a classroom, doing home studying and just figuring it out. There's a completely new adjustment, and I, to be honest, don't really have much of a clue of what's going on. And I don't think anyone really does. But the best way to learn is just to kind of throw myself into the deep end. Yeah, that's all I've got for right now. This is always a fun distraction. So what have you bought?
These are my practical winter boots.
Practical winter boots? They're cool. They look like Doc Martens, but cooler because they're not Doc Martens.
Ew, no, they don't.
Okay, you don't need to get offended. Jenny
Yeah,
does
well,
not approve.
That's not me. I'm too girly for Doc Martens.
You are.
Black pants, like black leather leggings or black leggings.
They actually look sick.
With like a black hoodie and a leather jacket, or you could do them with like a coat. You could do them with anything, really.
Sick.
These
What do you guys think? Yes or no?
Not with these pants, obviously.
Not with those pants. Let us know in the comment section. And it is 12:05, and that is pretty much where I'm going to end today, Monday, at med school. And look at the size of my list. I've wiped 2 things off it. But that is the life of someone that has a million different lives. Is it bedtime, babe?
Yes, baby.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll catch you tomorrow. And good morning, it is Tuesday at 10:40 and I've got a moving and handling course in half an hour. Yeah, moving and handling. We've also got to learn that, which is just, it's crazy, I guess. But yeah, that's what you do in induction week essentially. I've only got one session today and that's it. It's a 2-hour session. And I'm going to learn how to lift boxes and lift people so that you don't injure yourself in the process. Which is pretty standard considering obviously on placement we're in a place of work, so everyone in places of work need to do that. But for the rest of the day I do need to get through the mandatory training. Now before you can go into your clinical years you have to finish the online courses online, and there's a lot of mandatory training, so it's on things like how to wash your hands, sterile equipment, and how to, I don't actually know a lot of these words. That just goes to show how much of it I've done. I've actually got 30 more courses to do and it takes a very, very long time. So bear in mind that if you've got to do that mandatory training and there's a deadline in a week's time, you need to start it ASAP, because I've already spent like 2 hours doing the ANTT. I've still not finished mandatory training. But anyway, I'm gonna finish my coffee and then head off. And that is the end of today's moving and handling session, where we learned 2 hours of how to use the beds and to correctly move patients on their feet so they're supported. And so I have just got back from a full morning full of moving and handling training. So basically that involved us sitting around a circle of about a group of 10, so it was 2 different tracks. Track R, which is the track that I'm on with the 6 other people that I'm on that track with, and then another 6 people, so a total of 12 of us. And that involved us starting off by doing a little bit of instruction training on how to sit up a patient and stand up with them and then walk with them with your arm around them in the right positioning and the correct way to walk, and obviously how to adjust yourself and to sit them back down. That was the first half, and then we finished with the final hour of instruction on how to use the beds, the hospital beds, and the 6 different kinds that will come across throughout a hospital. And that was good because these beds have a lot of different settings and a lot of different buttons that you can press that all do different things. So it was really cool to have a play with them, but it's already really good because I already feel like I'm getting a lot of value from the training that I'm getting. Like, this is not things that you can just go on an online course and just watch some videos on how to do. This has been a really valuable 2 hours of moving and handling training, so really enjoyed that. Then I came home and I've just had a 1-hour PPD meeting with our new PPD facilitator. Now, the PPD tutor that we're going to have for years 3 to 5 is different to the ones that we've had in preclinical years. My PPD tutor is a rheumatologist consultant, so really cool, really specific, and yeah, it definitely feels like PPD is far less of an emphasis of a focus in year 3. There are only like 4 or 5 ILOs that we've got to get through, which is nothing in comparison to years 2 and years 1. Because in year 1 and 2, we had to document all of our patient interactions, all of the skills that we learned, and everything else. In year 3, you don't have to do that, and there's a reason for that. That's because in year 3, the PPD component of patient assessments and all that stuff is what you do on a separate form. So you've got to submit all these patient assessments, and that's essential to get signed off on your clinical placements. So PPD is no longer the same in year 2. It's now separate to the e-forms that you're going to be filling out every week, that you do new skills, that you write about those experiences, that you write about the patient interactions. That's now separate, but now PPD has a far lesser component and a far less weighting to it in year 3. So it definitely feels like there's a lot less emphasis on that. So right now what I'm going to do for the rest of the afternoon is work my way through my to-do list and also start planning out the PPD that needs doing for this year. Okay, so I've just spent the last hour or so just basically going through the timetable because in year 3 you sort of create your own timetable as to the days that you're in hospital. We've got to do a minimum of 3 shifts per week, and the different shifts are as follows: an 8 a.m. start to a 4 p.m. finish, a 12 o'clock midday start to an 8 p.m. finish, or a 5 p.m. start to a midnight finish. And that's actually a minimum, so you can go in as much as you want and have as much experience as you want, but you have to do one of each of those 3. So I'm just in the process of like creating my own timetable. But it does seem a little bit confusing because I know that some days we have practical sessions, we have skills sessions, and it will clash. I'm kind of a bit confused. I know that we're going to have a meeting on Friday with the head person, the consultant that's looking after us. I feel like this really well reflects what this is like right now. I'm very confused, as is everyone else going into this. It feels very overwhelming, and you know, it's induction week, but I'm pretty stressed about next week where I start. But I am also equally a little bit reassured about looking at my timetable, and I did notice 5 days a week I seem to be in from like 9 to 5, but it is just a case of checking your rota that you set yourself. Anyway, I need some downtime. I'm gonna go to the gym. I reckon cardio, shoulders, and some abs. And what do we have for dinner? And what are you doing up
stood
there?
on a chair.
In this random position
I can't read.
and way of cooking. But it looks like we've got a teriyaki noodles with loads and loads of vegetables on the menu this evening. Workout was good though. I feel good about it. I feel like my head is a little bit cleared after a day of stress looking at my
Abs are back.
after a day of filling up my to-do list more than I take things off it. So definitely feeling a little bit on the more overwhelmed side, but I do want to get through some more of my mandatory training this evening. What do we think? I'm going to go out to the egg and do some mandatory training.
Light the candle.
Light the candle for me.
Okay.
What is your dinner?
Excellent, if I say so myself.
And I've got to say, absolutely delicious. Jennifer, your cooking has definitely improved since you met me. It has, hasn't it?
Baby, you've never cooked a day in your life. For me.
I'm sure I have, and I'm sure somewhere on one of these vlogs I've done that. So I'm just watching another mandatory course on dementia, and part of me is like, should I be writing notes on this? Because there's a lot of interesting stuff and a lot of interesting information on this dementia course. But really, really quite fascinating because my grandma has dementia and it really does impact us and the rest of the family. And you know, watching this, it really puts things into perspective a bit. The patient and for what she's probably going through, seeing it from person with dementia's perspective. Really cool video within this mandatory training. Okay guys, it is just about 11 p.m. and I'm thinking about going to bed soon, but I just want to highlight that in your first 2 weeks of induction, the mandatory training that you've got to fill out, make sure you get on that immediately. Get on that as soon as those induction weeks start, because there are around 30 courses and they each take about an hour to do. It takes so long. My deadline is Friday. I need to have watched another 25 courses and completed questionnaires at the end and assessments. So it's a lot of work. Make sure you do the assessments as soon as possible. I'm gonna go to bed now. Catch you tomorrow. It is Wednesday morning and I have basically just spent the last few hours trying to get through all this mandatory training. I've got 30 courses that need doing and I've managed to get through 2 in the last 2 hours. That just kind of gives you an idea of how long this takes. And also the deadline is Friday, so I've got 2 days to get through all of these 30 courses, well 28 now, and I can't start placement until I finish them. There is absolutely an enormous amount to get through. I'm actually worried about it, and I didn't even sleep last night because I was tossing and turning, panicking about how much I need to do. So I'm going to keep trying to get through this because at midday and all afternoon we've got a peer mentor meet and greet with the year 3s. So yeah, we'll meet our year 4 mentors who are going to help us advise us and take us around the campus apparently. So yeah, that should be fun. And there's also a free lunch involved in it. But I can't relax until I've got this done. All right, I've got 29 more courses to do. Spent all morning doing that. I'm gonna head out. Baby, bye-bye. You look nice.
Thank you.
Now I'm talking to you. Sorry, you look good as well. All right, time for this meet and greet. And it looks like it's about to pour it down, so I'm glad this is all inside. And I am now back home, and guess who's made me lunch?
It's me.
It's your lunch. Yeah, today's been pretty good. It was basically just a meet and greet with a year 4 rep, the person that is our peer mentor for year 4. So they spoke to us about what to expect, gave us some in tips, I guess, for what to expect and how to best...
Inside knowledge.
Inside knowledge, yeah. For now, I'm going to have some food with Jennifer before she leaves me again for dancing. Because she is doing some dancing teaching, aren't you? Mm-hmm. What kind of dance?
Irish dancing.
Irish dancing, and why is that for everybody that doesn't already know?
Because I'm a river dancer.
She's was a river dancer.
Was, sadly.
Yeah, until she got the boot.
Absolutely do not get the boot.
So just as a recap of today where we met the year 4 peer mentors, it's always good to speak to people in the year above just to figure out exactly what they found from a student's perspective. From what I've always heard, everyone seems to be saying year 3 is so much easier than years 2 and potentially even year 1, which was of course the easiest. Everybody says you have so much more free time on your hands and it's just basically up to you to just get your sign-offs done. But the only difference is people won't baby you. Like, people won't chase you, people won't make sure that you're up to date and up to speed with what's required of you. It's for you to go out there and do it yourself. So I feel like a lot of people, maybe, you know, undergrads, they might struggle with that, especially if they're not confident or assertive. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are probably going to feel a little bit reserved to do things, and I think that's what year 3 is all about. Character building, fitting into the work environment in a hospital, finding your feet and really just going out there and asking questions and trying to get involved. So I'm looking forward to it, I really am. I just feel like the rest of the evening now is going to have to be me finishing my mandatory training because I've got so much of that to do. I've scheduled a video on my travel map page, so if you want to see my traveling that I've been getting up to recently, go and subscribe to the page by clicking on that. Lots of fun stuff there. But for me, I'm just going to get through this mandatory training because I've got 28 courses to do and I've got 1.5 days to do it. Good morning, and today it is Thursday, and today I've just really been getting more and more familiar with using this iPad and how it's going to help me in these clinical years. And what I'm noticing is the iBooks app, and it is actually really helpful because we get sent so many different PDFs. I don't know how it is at the other hospitals, but at MRI we have been sent so many examination PDFs, so many like tutorial PDFs, venipuncture, and all these other different things that we need to know. And I find it quite overwhelming in how to organize it. So the way that I've done it is using the iBooks app. So let's say I find an email with a attachment to it. I'll open up the attachment, and as you can see, I've just got an attachment here and I'm not really sure what to do with it because I'm going to look at it now, but where am I going to put it? So basically what I've been doing is clicking on the top right, save file via, and I've been selecting iBooks. Now, once I've saved that to iBooks, it is coming up in my library, which is here, which are all my different files, which come up in the iBooks, which is really, really helpful because as you can see, I've got urinalysis, and it's really easy to just whiz through, especially if I'm on a ward or I'm, learning in a lecture theatre. And what I've done is I have categorized them into different collections, and you can see I've created a medical school one with just typical medical student folders such as student support and our welcome guide, which has been created, which I can just whiz through at any point, just have a read of that and just learn about you know, the course or whatever else when I'm on a bus or something, which to be honest I'm never on because I don't tend to get public transport. So everything's really, really nicely laid out, and I just feel like this is a really good way of, you know, having, you know, my iPad set up, and I've also got a pencil as well, which I paid £130 for, which we're going to find out if it's worth it or not. But yeah, this is quite cool. I'm enjoying this little setup. I've got everything nicely laid out now, and a really good way of accessing all the files that have been sent to me. But for the rest of the afternoon, my plan is to just keep working my way through these mandatory training courses. I've got about 20 more to do. Look at that, I've already done 8 hours and 15 minutes. It's just crazy, and I've only done 40%. Like, I've got so much more to do. And I've got to do it by midday tomorrow. It's really annoying.
Jenny is beautiful, but not as beautiful as morning Jenny. And I wrote, yes, Jenny.
Jenny in the morning's really cute.
Jenny is beautiful, however.
What's she writing? However, Matthew
It's my
is
dream.
more beautiful. Woohoo!
No big.
That was a session on written communication, which is obviously incredibly important when transitioning into clinical years, just because we've got to write a lot of patient notes, we've got to read a lot of patient notes, and we'll be having to do handovers to other people, especially on the ward rounds. So we need to be clued up on how to write concisely. That's basically what this session was. It was just an hour lecture, introduction to all that. And it is 10:45, and I've got about 6 more courses to do. But I've actually decided that it's just, I've got a deadline. I've got a deadline tomorrow, and that is midday. And unfortunately, I've got my induction at hospital tomorrow morning from 9:30 till 10:30, and I have to be there, which only means I've got a few hours after to complete these courses, which basically means I'm not going to be able to do it in time. And if I don't get it done and all submitted by midday, I'm not able to go on placement on Monday. But what a lot of other people have told me is they've basically not even been doing the courses. All they've been doing is just clicking the next button the entire time, which you essentially can do because you've got an assessment at the end. You've just got to score 80% on the assessment. And often you get unlimited tries, but sometimes a maximum of 3. So you just have to remember what you put in the last ones, and then you can actually complete the courses. I've gone through a few of the different courses. I'm just gonna whiz through the courses, do the assessments, get the pass mark, and make sure that these are all completed by midday. Because the most important thing is for me to be on placement next week. And this is all about things like movement and handling, how to sit at a laptop and be the right distance from your screen. It's all stuff that isn't gonna cause a problem, you know? And the great thing is you have access to them after the deadline. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna whiz through them, get them all submitted by midday tomorrow, and then I'll revisit them over the weekend before my placement. And I've taken notes of the ones that I've just submitted and basically just whizzed through and not really processed. But I really need to do a bit of exercise because I don't feel great. So I'm gonna go to the gym for a bit and then call it a night and catch you guys tomorrow. Good morning. Today is very, very exciting because it marks the first day that I can actually wear my hospital scrubs. So yeah, we've got an induction at the emergency department where I'm spending my first introductory 4-week block, and I need to be there in 20 minutes. So I'm gonna head off and yeah, update you after. I have just got back from the induction and the ANTT assessment, but Jenny's got to go to work, so I'm gonna walk her to work, and I don't want to be wearing my scrubs in public. It is bring your boyfriend to work day, isn't it? Yes. But, as I said, wearing scrubs out in public, people ask you questions, especially when I was just outside the hospital. Everyone wanted to know where everything was, so quick outfit change. Alright baby, what time was it?
Well, I finish at 6, but you have the gym.
So, 7, 8? So, what a day and what an absolutely unbelievable experience I've had so far today. You see this? This is me getting signed off, competent in absolutely every aspect of ANTT, which is aseptic non-touch techniques, which basically means next week when I do go onto the hospital wards, I've got a little sticker on my badge that indicates that I am competent in, being clean and hand hygiene and everything that comes with it before doing procedures. So they'll know if I ever want to do a catheter, if I want to do venipunctures, if I want to put a needle or do anything invasive or anything for that matter with a patient, the doctors supervising me will always know that, okay, this student has passed his ANTT, which lasts a full year, I believe. Anyway, guys, I cannot explain how much fun I've had. Even though it was a 1-hour session, which was just meant to be an introduction with our consultant who's looking after us on our block, I cannot explain how incredible that experience was. So, to start with, we arrived in the morning and couldn't actually find the room, which was quite funny because we were a little bit late, like 5 minutes late or so to the room, but our consultant wasn't there. And that is because he is a very eminent doctor in his field, and a tragedy actually happened this morning. Basically, he had to attend to that, so he just walked in the morning and said, "Can I just get all your names?" And I was like, "Hi," and we were all just a bit flustered because he was flustered, thinking, what's going on here? And he said, "Yep, this is what's happened. I'm going off. I'll see you guys later." And we were all like, wow, this is where it gets real. And for me, it was like, this is incredible to see like the real work in motion, because he was asking our names, his phone was buzzing, his walkie-talkie was going off, and it just felt so real. So we said bye to him, and then we were left with his colleague who looked after us and gave us the tour, answered some questions, basically showed us the ropes of what to expect when our rotation starts next week. And honestly, it feels so exciting. The fact that today it was our first day literally wearing scrubs. A few people didn't, but I just wanted to, and it just felt like an amazing thing, and such an honour to wear the scrubs on the wards, to wander around. Even though we weren't doing anything and we were only actually doing that for about half an hour, it still felt incredible to be on the wards, to see some patients in the distance, see some hospital beds, see the team that are involved in everyone's care working together, the craziness of A&E, and honestly, I cannot explain to you how excited I am to start my clinical rotation 4 weeks in A&E from next week. It actually baffles me that I'm finally here, like doing the thing that first drew me into medicine in the first place, and that is bringing together all the things that we learn in preclinical years, all the science, all the theory, and actually how it translates to patients and how, a hospital actually operates. And, they really did explain to us that this is the best rotation to get all of our sign-offs. And basically that's because in our third year, we need to complete a certain number of UPSAs. This is what UPSA stands for. Now, these different things are different clinical skills that are required as a medical student in order to pass through your clinical years. And obviously emergency medicine, we're gonna see everything. There's gonna be endless opportunities to get all of your sign-offs. So what an amazing rotation to start with, especially considering we are being thrown in at the deep end and we're gonna see everything. So really excited for that. And to be honest, my plan next week is not necessarily going to be to try and get all my sign-offs. I really want to go in with a fresh mind and just observe. My first week next week, when I've got 3 shifts, I just want to watch and absorb as much as possible and take it all in and just try and walk before I can run. I know there's others on my course that just want to get their sign-offs done and dusted ASAP from the get-go, but I feel like it's going to be more of a service to me to just kind of feel it out, find my feet, see how the hospital operates, see how, relationships are formed, and try and make some relationships with the staff and, try and find my feet and really fit in. But yeah, really excited to finally be in the place of my future work. Mental. Okay, so ANTT document away in my folder, which is where I keep all my essential, important documents throughout med school. In there, nice and tidy. So the plan for the rest of the afternoon is basically just catch up with all my emails. I am so behind. And also, over the course of this weekend, my real plan is going to be go through some of the mandatory training, because obviously I rushed it yesterday to get through it, really read it, really understand it before my placement, because I think that's going to be really, really important. And in addition to that, I need to read through the handbook. I want to get up to speed with what is expected exactly this year, all the ins and outs, because to be honest, I've really not read anything. We've had all these 2 induction weeks of all these introductory lectures of what to expect, but to be honest, I really should have been more prepared in doing my pre-reading of what to expect in the handbook, the Year 3 welcome guide. There are so many resources available to us, and I just want to really read through those so I am completely up to speed and prepared starting my first clinical rotation as of next week. Time to do some more revision, and then I'm going to the gym later. And after a wicked workout, I'm back home now to enjoy a lovely dinner cooked by my lovely girlfriend. What have you cooked?
Bolognese.
Oh, and you've got a lovely candle lit for us. Some, I don't even know what these are.
Garlic bread. You dip them in the garlic butter.
So sweet.
They're
This
so nice.
looks unreal. I've had an amazing week, and I actually think this is where I'm going to wrap this video up. This has been unbelievable, so exciting, and I cannot wait to start my first rotation next week. So if you guys have enjoyed this one, hit that like button and the subscribe button, and check out this playlist right here for more of the weekly uploads, and to follow my journey through Year 3, Year 4, Year 5, and thereafter. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. You want to say bye?